Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. PaulieEsther here, and today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to do story time with PaulieEsther, the first and maybe last installment of story time with PaulieEsther. But I had something weird happen to me today, and I wanted to tell you guys about it. And I was gonna use this as a lead-in to my regular gameplay video, but I don't know how long the story is gonna run, and plus I had things I wanted to talk about changes in the game, so I thought that was enough chatter at the beginning of the video, so to speak. So I'm introducing an entirely new segment, Storytime with PaulieEsther. So some of you know, some of you don't know that I am a collector of sorts. I have a few different hobbies, things I collect, and I've often been known to go through a thrift store just for that reason, to try and find something that someone has donated that has some collectible value, some age to it. And I sometimes I find stuff, sometimes I don't. You never know what you're going to find. It's always different in the thrift store. You never know what somebody is going to overlook and donate. And so I went to the thrift store today. I had gone as well yesterday, and I left something behind, and I kind of regretted it, so I thought that I would go back and see if it was still there, which usually it never is. Those are like one-offs. If the time to, what do they say on American Pickers? The time to buy it is when you see it, something like that. You can't leave anything because you just never know. Somebody else is going to buy it too. So the item that I was going to buy was this. Miss Piggy's Aerobic Exercise Workout Album. It's a record from 1982, I think. And it was $1. And I passed it up yesterday because I don't have a record player. But the more I thought about it, I thought, that is just such a hilarious item. It's so kitschy and corny that I want it. I'm going to go back and see if it's still there. I'm sure many of you are too young to even know when Jane Fonda started the exercise craze, where she had the leg warmers and she had the Jane Fonda workout tapes for VCRs. VCR is a thing. If you don't know, I'm not going to go into that. But Jane Fonda made a mint on these exercise workout tapes. I know my aunt had them, and she did the Jane Fonda workout. So this was kind of like a tongue-in-cheek parody of that, a record album with Miss Piggy doing her own version of an exercise workout. I think if you actually look at some of the tracks on the record, it was like, now sit down or breathe and stuff. And, you know, it's just tongue-in-cheek funny stuff for Miss Piggy. And I like the Muppets. I collect some Muppet stuff. So I thought, okay, yeah, I want this. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back and get it. So I go back to the thrift store to look to see if anybody left it. Like, does anybody want this other than me? I don't know. I thought I would take a chance. So I go back to dig through they have 3 stacks of records on the floor. I have to like actually squat down and dig through all the records one by one, flip through the album covers and see if it's there. So as I'm approaching the music section, they keep all their media in the same section. They have the records, and I think they have cassette tapes, I don't know, and they have DVDs, CDs, and magazines and stuff. And there's a young teenage couple there who are looking at the CDs, and the CDs are like above where the records are. There's like 2 sections of CDs, because obviously CDs are way more popular than vinyl is today. All this vinyl is really old, and a lot of people don't want it, don't even know who the artists are really. So the young couple's going through the CDs, and as I'm walking up, I see that they're digging through all of the CDs and pulling out all the Justin Bieber albums. And they're like, oh, here's another one in there. You know, instead of having all the spines where you read all the spines of the CDs, they turned the Justin Bieber ones face forward like this Miss Piggy cover, so you could see Bieber, 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 Bieber in front of all the CDs. They were just Bieberifying the whole CD section. Every Bieber CD they could find, they were pulling them out and turning them cover forward to be the biggest believers in the world, whatever. So I'm like, oh, that's cute, whatever they're doing, okay. So I'm down on the ground, digging through my albums, looking for this Miss Piggy here. And the guy's like literally over my head going through the CDs, because I'm down where the records are and he's above me where the CDs are. So he's like, here's another one, here's another one. He's handing his girlfriend, presumably, all of these Bieber CDs. So then all of a sudden he goes, oh, Celine Dion. And I'm like, what? Okay. And so he's like fixated on the cover of this CD, looking at Celine Dion. I guess I didn't see it, but I just, heard him say, oh, stopped him in his tracks, Celine Dion. So his girlfriend says to him, oh, do you think she's hot? Now, most men out there are going to know what the right answer to this question is. But I overhear this and I'm like, uh-oh. So I'm like, how old is this dude? 15, 16 years old? Does he know what to do? And my son was with me too. He was just to the right of me looking at the board games. So this guy doesn't say anything. He's just looking at the CD. And she says, do you think she's hot? Again, he doesn't say anything. And so now I'm like, oh no, this guy doesn't know what to do. And it's like watching like a car wreck about to happen, and you could see it coming, and you're like, he's not really gonna do this, is he? And so I turned to my son, and I pretended like I'm talking to my son, but I'm not talking to my son. I'm trying to talk to this guy beside me, or actually above me here. And so I just put on, the Admiral Akbar meme. And I go, it's a trap, to my son like that. But I'm trying to clue this guy in that this is a trap. Watch what you say to this woman. Like, what are you doing? So then she says, she turns it up a notch. And she can tell that she's got him almost to the point where she wants him. And she just needs to nudge the table a little bit to make the house of cards come falling down. And she says to him, it's okay if you think that she's hot. You can tell me, like, just be honest about it. I'm not going to be mad or anything, right? So she's giving him this false sense of security that it's okay for him to be honest with her in this situation and tell her what he really thinks. And he seems like a decent enough guy in this situation. I can tell he's struggling with what to say. And I think what's going through his head is he's thinking, well, she said it's okay, so I want to have an honest and open relationship with my girlfriend, and she said she's not going to be mad at me. I don't want to lie to my girlfriend, so I'm going to tell her what I really think. And he says, after she says, it's okay if you think that she's hot, I'm not going to be mad, just go ahead and tell me. He says, yeah, I think she's hot. Well, wouldn't you know it, it isn't okay that he said that, even though she said it was going to be okay. And by this point, she has switched places with him, and now she is the one above me going through the CDs, and I'm still going through my albums, and I'm like, I cannot believe this is happening right above me between these two. So she starts to berate him like you would not believe. Like, she says, oh my God, I can't believe you just said that. Okay, now first of all, let's remember, we're talking about Celine Dion here, right? We're talking about a woman who is pushing 50 years old. And this young punk doesn't have a fart's chance in a windstorm of getting together with Celine Dion no matter what. So I don't know what she's insecure about. It ain't happening, 15, 16-year-old dude is not hooking up with Celine Dion. She's no threat to you. And you told the guy to be honest with you And he was, and now he's getting crap for it. I'm like, what is going on? I mean, I know that, you're not supposed to say, yeah, I think she's hot, or you're supposed to say it in a way like, yeah, she's hot, but she's not as hot as you, or yeah, she's good looking, but I only have eyes for you. You make me happy, something like that. Like, put a spin on it. Don't go, yeah, she's hot. Oh my God, Celine Dion's hot. And I'm like, what album is this dude looking at? So I'm like, afterwards I had to go home and look up some Celine Dion albums, and I'm like, what am I missing out on here with Celine? I just could only imagine, which of these covers was he just so mesmerized by that he wouldn't answer her, and he was like, should I tell her that I touch myself to Celine Dion? I don't know what to do. And I'm like, what are you doing, bro? And, I mean, Celine Dion's nice looking and everything, but let's face it, she's no Miss Piggy. There's no comparison. Anyway, so the guy's got the thing for Celine Dion, and he told her that he did, and she is just letting him have it right over the top of me. And I'm like, this can't really be happening. And so she's like, I can't believe you just said that. Who does that? Who says that? And she's like, I'm so mad at you right now. And I'm like, can we just hit the rewind button and go back to what you told the guy like less than a minute ago? That you weren't going to be mad, and you wanted him to be honest, and you wanted to know what he genuinely thought, and he did that, and now he's in trouble for this? What is going on? And so she says to him, what kind of a guy says something like that right to their girlfriend's face? And I couldn't even contain myself anymore, because she's like saying all this with her head sideways, going through the CDs, and I'm right underneath her going through the albums. I'm like she's like right here above my head saying this. And so I said, maybe the kind of guy who was just given permission to say that from said girlfriend? And she turns to me, looks down at me, and she goes, what did you say? And I said, maybe the kind of guy who was just given permission to say that from said girlfriend? And she's like, oh, how dare you? And I'm like, how dare I? What are you doing to this poor guy? You are like setting him up for a world of screw-ups, and I don't know who taught you to have this kind of relationship with a man and manipulate him, but it's so screwed up. And so I just stood up. I said, okay, my album's not here. I didn't go like entirely through the 3 rows of albums, but I figured if it's going to be here, it's going to be towards the front. It's not going to be buried at the back. So I went through enough of it that I was satisfied. It wasn't there. No Miss Piggy for me. And I just had enough, and I wanted to be out of there. So I just backed up and stood up and shook my head and walked away. So I went over to the board games and collected my son. I said, okay, let's go back here and look at the rest of the toys, see if there's anything there collectible that I want. So I'm looking through all of that stuff, left them there in the media section. It's about 200 feet away across the store. And 5 minutes go by. I'm just looking at toys. Is there anything here I want? Any Batman, whatever, Spider-Man, who knows? Don't really see anything. And then I hear, from behind me, I hear this voice approaching me fairly swiftly. And it's like, Candace, no, come on, Candace, don't, please, come on, let's just don't, just let's go, come on, don't. And I'm like, what is going on? So I turn around, and this 16-year-old young lady is rushing up on me to come and give me a piece of her mind. And I'm like, oh, this should be interesting. So she comes up and gets, about 5 feet away from me. And she says, hey, why don't you just mind your own business and stay out of mine and my boyfriend's relationship? How about that? And I'm like, okay, sure. I'm done being Dr. Phil now. You happy? And then she's like so angry. And she says, like, what are you even doing eavesdropping on our conversation? And I said, whoa, excuse me. It's kind of hard to not overhear what you're talking about when you're standing right beside me and above me. How am I not supposed to overhear that? So let's just relax on this whole eavesdropping on your conversation thing. So then she was just like, oh, and she throws her hands up and she goes storming off out of the store. And this guy, he's like, Candace, no, wait, come on, Candace, don't. And then he just looked at me with just like the saddest puppy dog face, like, bro, what did you just do to me? And I was like, man, I said to him, I said, look, guy, I was just trying to help you remove your foot from that bear trap that you stepped in so stupidly. And I said, now, here's what you do. I said, you go follow her and you both bond over what an a-hole I am, and it'll be fine. So he goes walking off, and then my son turns to me and he says, what just happened? And I said, I'll tell you later, because he didn't really hear the first part of it because he was looking at the board games and that. So he was just beside me, had no idea that I even had words with the young lady to begin with. And when she come rushing up on us, he was just like, who is this and what does she want? Like, what is she talking about? So I filled him in afterwards about how, it was like we're playing Dead by Daylight. And there's this trap that everybody can see that the trapper put down, except for this guy. And he just stepped right into it. And I was like, you didn't really just do that. But he did it. So I guess everybody at some point in their life has to learn this lesson about the way you answer these kind of questions. It's like does my butt look big in this kind of a question, And ladies, don't ask questions that you maybe aren't going to like the answer to. It's that simple. Don't preach that you want honesty, and then when you get honesty but you don't like the answer, you're upset. Don't say you're not going to be mad. I'm not going to be mad as long as you say the answer that I want. That's basically what it is, right? So I just thought it was such a comical, bizarre situation today. And, I did stick my nose in. I probably shouldn't have. So if the couple is out there watching, I apologize. But give the guy a break. He was just trying to be honest with you. If he likes Celine Dion, so what? She's no threat to you. I mean, even if he has... Oh, and here's the best part. When he was trying to fix the situation, I forgot this, about when she was all saying, I can't believe you said that and all this. His idea, the way to make it all better, about having said that he thought Celine Dion was hot, his idea on what he was going to say, which it just made it look even more comical to me that he had no idea. Had to be his first girlfriend. Had to be. He had no idea what he was doing. His way of making the situation all better is he's like, I just said she was hot. I didn't say I would smash or anything. And I was like, oh my God, this is the way you're justifying it? I didn't say I would smash Celine Dion. I just said she was hot. It's okay, baby. Oh man, what a day. That was just nuts. Oh, Celine, and your nasal rantings. Somewhere out there is a 15 or 16-year-old young man who just loves looking at these album covers and touching himself. But his girlfriend don't like it. Oh man, I don't know what else to say about that. It was just such a strange situation. I can't believe that she was like, I'm gonna go give him a piece of my mind. If I want to destroy my relationship with him and manipulate him, it's none of your business. If I want to put all this guilt on him for for being honest with me when I told him I wasn't going to be, it's none of your business. Which it really isn't any of my business. It was just a messed up situation. And, men are, to blame in some of these scenarios, too. I have been in a checkout waiting to pay for something and seen a guy actually turn to his pregnant significant other, grown man, pregnant, significant other, girlfriend, wife, whatever, and look at the cover of a magazine with Christina Aguilera pregnant on the cover. His wife's pregnant. Christina Aguilera's pregnant on the magazine, which we know magazines are all photoshopped and they're not real. You know, they're all airbrushed, photoshopped. It's not a real portrayal. And he turns to his wife and he says, "Why don't you look like that? She's pregnant too." And I was like, oh my God, what are you doing, man? I don't know. People are weird sometimes. But anyway, that's story time with PaulieEsther today. I don't know if you found any value or humor in that. I just really, that situation just stuck with me. And I just had to tell somebody about it. Because it was so messed up how she was like, "Oh, really? I'm not going to be mad at you." And she's opening the bear trap and covering it with the leaves. "No, you can be honest with me. Just tell me what you really think. It's okay. It's okay if you think she's hot. Just go ahead and tell me." And then he was like, "Okay, tank." Her foot right in the trap. I'm like, "Oh my God, kid, what are you doing?" Anyway, so if you got any value or humor out of that situation, give me a thumbs up. And maybe we'll do some more story time if any other bizarre encounters with humans happen in the real world. So have a great day. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next time, and bye-bye.